Oh, let's go on 5-0 trust. Okay. I feel it. We got ourselves Darken. It's gonna be first up as a Shadow Priest. Yo, kind of been loving how many Shadow Priests we've had so far. However, it is gonna be a sub rogue, dude. It's gonna be the two specs that are shadowy inclined, and Dirk's absolutely just chopping up Darken. Not giving him much of a chance to even get a breather here. It's going to be a bunch of void volleys. Shadow striking to the pet to avoid that volley. Still eats a massive volley either way. Cloak of Shadows for the rogue. Just bursts out for Darken. Still has a trigger for the rogue. Trying to see if he can juke him out. Does not get to juke him out, unfortunately. Dirk's with advantage for a second. I like a tabard, by the way. That thing is pretty good. That's the season 3 tabard. Pretty good looking. I feel like there's not a lot of sets that match that tabard super well. It feels not really voidy. It almost feels like, I know they're trying to go for like ethereal void looking thing, but it almost feels like Nerubian. Just the color scheme. I feel like void ethereal should have been more purple. Personally, it's going to be red, but a cheap shot back to back in the dark end does not have much of an answer. Does get himself a fade for a second, gouge for a second. Does Dirk survive this go? He does survive, but it still has a lot of damage. Stone on the Dirks. Darken wins. What is this video game? Is this World of Warcraft? Shadow Priest beats a rogue? That doesn't happen, does it? Is this Fellowship? What is this? This isn't World of Warcraft? What is happening? I think historically, what is your cloak, by the way? Is that just like a random mog? Is that a toy? Like everything good matches with the set. Even the weapon is the artifact weapon, which is like kind of matches Shadow Priest, but not the cloak. Since when Shadow Priest went rogue? I don't know, man. I don't know. If Fool's started to darken, I think he might just die here, but unfortunately, not a lot he could do. Like, Desperate Prayer, maybe, but I think, yeah, it's just over. Like, as he came out of CC, it was already like, I feel like a Frostbolt or something. Whatever that killed him just now, it was already midair. I don't know what could have helped. I don't know what would have happened there. Shiboshi does give Young a bit of like this honorable match here, just letting him kind of, maybe not giving him an honorable duel, maybe just waiting until Icy Veins goes away. He is giving him a chance to like position wherever he wants to before he rushes him. I don't know if it's like a honorable thing or if he's just like, I just need a better angle and I don't like how he has cooldowns right now. I don't want to run at him while he's rolling cooldowns. Might be one of those situations. Young does hit him with a breath, is going to land a polymorph while moving. That Dawnlight, however, does get nerfed. They get nerfed by 15%, so that is noticeable. Mad damage onto Shiboshi. Got himself a Shield of Vengeance to follow him. Young backing up out of there. Got himself Altar. So should be okay. Knocking Shiboshi out in the open, and the more you can knock him and slow him, the better. Young taking huge hits is going to have the Altar, let him recover a ton of health. Only 10% dampener to reduce it. Massive Glacial Spike into Shiboshi. Trying to see if we can get some more cooldowns out of him. Is going to be a lay on hands out of their Paladino. As he's trying to see if he can get himself a Hand of Freedom. Could potentially steal it, but he's using the Hand of Freedom to get himself lots of mobility. Keeping Young out in the open so you can't go for a greater invis. He's going to go for Poly Nova, trying to spell to all the buffs he can. Frost Bomb, potentially big go. Poly, full Meteor. Just throwing every big hit at him right now with a bunch of abilities. No Flurry, unfortunately, to land that Shatter bonus. He just instead tossed out a Frost Bomb, big Meteor with a Comet Storm, and just a Frozen Orb, just to slow him down, let it do a bit of damage from a distance. For Shiboshi, he's perfectly fine right now. The Young just trying to see if he can get himself an angle to sit down for some Mage Foot. Is going to hit him with his flurries to land an immediate slow. Ring of Frost to make it harder for the Paladin to really get an angle. Almost walking to the Ring of Frost, but trying to avoid it as best as he can. Got himself a bit of that range. And as long as Young is able to keep himself at a distance, not let the Paladin go for a full Wake of Ashes with Dawnlight, he's going to be okay. Shiboshi trying to see if he can finally close the gap. Finally trying to see if he can make some damage happen to Young. He's going to be a Trinket with Young trying to see if he can reposition massive spike, but it's going to be immune for Shiboshi. And then Young is going to go for a little bit of that shifting power. Try to recover as much health as humanly possible. Repositioning to get around Paladin all the way. Does go for a greater invis, but he's lagging, so he doesn't even know where he's at. The lag couldn't even guess, honestly. He was just running in place. Unfortunately. And Young trying to get himself an angle. Does pick up a Poly, but he just does not have that corner. He just keeps waddling. He keeps waddling in that duck form. In that Poly towards the corner to try to dodge it. He kind of hits. Frostfire Bolt could have potentially been huge. That is a big shatter combo. Could have been a lot of damage. And Young is just trying to, it doesn't look like Young is going to want to rush Shiboshi with like a breath or anything. He's going to just try to see if he can stay away from him. I think he just does not want to get hit by the Wake of Ashes into Dawn Lights, like, to begin with. If he could reduce that, limit that, he's going to be in a good spot. And he just tried to see if he can maximize that range away from the pally. Technically could drop down with the breath and a full stun lock combo. Shiboshi does have a human racial for this. He's going to try to see if he can go for a blizzard. Gets out of the CC with a blink, breath right after with a poly to follow him. And this is an opportunity for him to have maybe some kind of a go. Shiboshi taking huge hits, but no flurries before those huge goes. It does not allow them to shatter, unfortunately. Unless you have like a Nova on the guy ahead of time, just not really getting that shatter bonus that you're looking for. Does have himself the Dawn Light, landing the dot onto Young, who got him some shields. Glacial Spike is just trying to see if he can back up out of there. Does get a massive crit. Huge procs to follow. Young may be looking for a block here. It's going to be Shiboshi also with the bubble as well. So both of them are going for as much of a reset as possible. Does himself the water elemental to at least build some resources off of. Might have a Wake of Ashes ready to go here. Hand of Freedom, try to see if he can spell steal it. This is going to be a stun. Full go. Young does it with a breath. Not a lot of health. Still got a second block. Might need to go for greater invis, honestly. That's a lot of dot damage you're taking. You don't have a lot of health. You don't have a lot of health. You need something to live. Shiboshi also does get kind of low, but Dawn Light is going to help him survive. Do you get yourself a full maybe food? You might just have to. Might just have to go corner and go as much food as you can. Just go for a feast. Shiboshi could pick up the eye or just rush it. I think he's just going to have to rush you. I think he's just going to have to. Yeah, you're just going to have to. That's a lot of recovery you're getting there. That's a lot of recovery you got there, buckaroo. Does not have a human racial or a trinket available here for the next time. Blinked a little early, though. Try to go for a blind. Does not connect. Try to see if you can back away from Shiboshi. Lands a poly. Staying far enough away from the Hodge, I think is going to be your only way to live right now for Young. Taking a huge hit. Shield of Edges, keep him alive. The Mage right now is just on the spot. He keeps blinking. So the next stun is just going to get some CC'd, unfortunately. Poly, it is very yard. Maybe you go for a stun of your own. Does not get the knock back. Young, I think, is done. Block, last one. Does get himself a little bit of help to work with. I don't know if you have anything to follow up. Maybe a stun to Shiboshi. He doesn't have a block anymore. He probably has a lay on hand. So maybe if you go for a full stun on him, that might be the play. Full stun, Icy Veins, full burst, everything available. Poly, I think you just have to have a go. I think you just have to have a go. He's got himself Icy Veins. Shiboshi back it up out of there completely. If you had a full stun, Meteor, and all those procs, I think that might have been enough. I think he has to commit. I think he just has to commit. You got him rooted. That could be an opportunity for you to run in, hit him with a breath, hit him with a stun. Try to hit him with a breath. Does not connect. Try to be extra careful from him. Next stun by Shiboshi could put Young in a bad spot. Oh, he's going to have a human racial, actually. So even if you stun him, it doesn't matter. Does have a blink. Got him some procs. Bomber for after. Does he just end him right here? Woo! No laying hands, baby. You know what? Maybe stunning him was not the play. Maybe polymorphing him with a big spike was the play. That was a good kit. That was a good go. That was huge. It's going to be Rick Meister up next. Got himself the gorgeous. Look at bouncing up. Look at that. Yeah, look at that thing. Oh, imagine the set kind of. It's like bluish and just kind of bluish looking. Yeah, I love those wings too. How it's like a galaxy wings. Only had to play him 12 times. Look, okay. Look. Pallies are not easy. They nerf their damage, but they're still really, really good for 1v1. Like, really good. I feel like there were a couple of times where Young had a really good go, but because he didn't have a flurry in there to get the shatter, like, I understand why he didn't flurry, right? He popped a frozen orb, popped a, usually popped like a meteor or comet storm, and then like frozen orb or blizzard to slow him down, so all those things clash together at once. But if you go in like comet storm flurry, maybe part of it connects. But ideally you would have flurry then meteor, so you have that combo. But if you flurry, you break him out of the polymer CC, so you know it's a tough spot to be in. It's gonna be breath on Rick with a poly. Young, I think he's gonna have a block. Yeah, he's not gonna have a block, but he's gonna have an axe toss that's gonna hit him. Young, try to see if he can hit with a fear, but it's gonna be walking up in melee with a quick fear of his own. Trying to go for a kick, does not connect. It is gonna be a juke, unfortunately. And Young just trying to see if he can get himself some shifting power. And there's gonna be a lot of demons with the Doom Guard chasing after him. That Doom Guard is actually very scary. Stun from above. Young does get a dodge with a greater invis, however. And Rick is looking for the eyes right now. If Young is in a good spot, he could potentially get himself a great opener onto Rick, but he's gonna back up out. And unfortunately, the pets do give him away. That pet chasing after it is going to give away exactly where you are. It does get a dodge what looks like a case mother back there. Is that what I saw, or is that just gateway? It looked like a Chaos Mother does get himself a port up above. Continuing to summon demons. He just stayed away from Young the entire time. Axe awesome to also interrupt them on looks like Frost potentially. Is going to back up out of there. Tyrant is available. That's going to be just a lot of demons chasing after Young. If he can CC those demons with roots and stuff, he might be okay. Does, I think, get himself a ring of... Oh, Frozen Bomb onto Rick. He does get it. But I don't think he had the Shadow combo. Rick does go for a gateway. I don't think he has a port for a while. He does have a port from the far side. So let's see, resets it right now. He might be not in a great spot. Young, I don't know how he's going to go for him. That's going to be a tough matchup, honestly. Early match, I had Asprey beat Rogue and Mage beat Paladin. It is a crazy match though, isn't it? Mage beat Paladin. I think Pally in past won against Mages. I think at least in over then. I feel like any other expansion, Mages usually just like run circles around Paladins. But I think just war within Pallies with that Dawn Light, usually just like as long as you get the dot, you're melting people. And then nerfing the dot a little bit is like, okay, do I play the dot build, which is not as good, or do I play the hammer build, which is probably highly impactful, but I really gotta get up really melee and really land those hammers. You know what I mean? Sometimes Dawnlight will just like randomly get wings proc and puts a Dawnlight on the guy and like you didn't even do anything. It's just a passive Dawnlight. But yeah, I think it does make it a little bit harder to like. There used to be a guaranteed answer. I don't think there's a guaranteed answer anymore. Rick just continued to run circles around Young. Speaking about running circles, Young just having to block. He's back up against the wall, surrounded by the army of the Burning Legion. Rick nowhere to be found, literally staying away from the guy the entire time. And anytime he closes the gap, he does it with a fear. And just continues to see chain right after. If you get a little too close, if you get too many casts in there, he goes in for an axe toss with a pet that's pretty much always on you. And unless you can slow down and root Rick in place, I think he's going to have a port here available, isn't he? Or gateway? Might just have a gateway. Yeah, he's got himself all the pets. Full summons. Does he have a tyrant? Not for a second, actually. Axos is trying to get himself a frosty cast, and I think, yeah, try to see if he can end it right there. With an Axos, the Indigo Dawns are available. Try to see if he can keep building up as much damage as possible. It's gonna go for a knockback on the pet. I don't think I've ever seen that pet get knocked back that far. Like, I usually see NPCs not knocked far, but they usually go to like the edge. And they don't really fall off, but that time the pet actually fell. If you're onto Young, it's over. It's like Tentacle Dawn taking him out. With the rest of the hell gonna be up next. Try to see if he can just dodge that CC. He's gonna get himself a huge charge. I don't even know what that was just now. Was that a Fall Blade? Try to see if he can stay on top of Rick as best as possible. Trinkets out of that stun with the Sigil of Fear to try to see if he can stop Rick. Is gonna hit him with a haunt mid-air. He basically like almost feel like knocked him up in the air, hit him with a Fear, and then just hit him with a body check haunt in mid-air. It looks so good. Fear by Rick. Just try to see if he can get the hell out of dodge. Does he have a port? Does he have mobility? Because for Rest in Hell, while he's hanging out with these pets, he's not going to be able to get much. He can at least rip souls out of the pets' bodies with a big Sigil of Spite off of Rick, however, is going to get him quite a bit of healing. Tyrant is in play, but this doesn't have mobility, I don't think. This is going to be Rest in Hell. I think landed the kill, and the Blaze do take out Rick. With Aloe going to be up next, charging out versus Rest in Hell. Rest got to go through 2 more here. Elo get hit with a big old eye beam. Is going to be Rest in Hell dodging with the Shadow Meld for just a quick second. Dropping his darkness, I think, as Elo does not drop theirs. No, still has a cooldown for it. So Rest in Hell just try to see if he can just run out Elo. He's just doing a bunch of damage from a distance. With a hunt, should be able to connect here. Does it connect? I don't think he actually took the damage. I think he had the imprison that stops from taking damage while he's on. Misclick ball, I guess. Mage, all good, all good. All good, all good. Elo does fly up in the sky for a second. Rest in Hell, not gonna mess with that. Not gonna mess with it. Rest in Hell does not have a lot of health, unfortunately. It's gonna be a very short stun onto Elo, but it's gonna be a full stun by Elo onto Rest in Hell. Does go in for a quick imprison. Is it gonna be enough? Elo trying to see if he can back up on the Sigil of Fear. Does connect, but the dots do take him out. And Rest in Hell needs to get whatever health he can. Curdy does land a full stun on the guy. Quick Fear right after. Has a bunch of volleys flying out, so it's probably gonna connect with Rest in Hell. Does connect. He got immunes with the Metamorphosis right after. Needs to pick up as much health as possible. Sigil of Spite, it is just not quick enough. And Curdy ready to go for the next, but he doesn't know who it's going to be. Is this the Rogue or is it Crazy? He's giving it whoever it is. He's letting him figure it out. Is it the Hunter? If it is the Hunter, just got to sting. Make sure you're moving. It is going to be the Rogue. Unfortunately, it is going to be the Rogue. For Curdy, not a great matchup. Does go for the Trick Fear. Immediate trick out of the Rogue. I don't know if Curdy... No, he can't stun him. Cloak of Shadow is really early for Nasbushka. Potentially, either Curdy just goes down here because it is a rogue with full cooldowns and massive damage. Or Curdy potentially uses that Cloak of Shadows use early to maybe somehow swing a victory. Does have a big rift, lots of damage building onto Smurshka. Curdy had no help whatsoever. Cheap shot. Unfortunately, Smurshka does take it. 2 for Young, and I think it was 2 for Rest in Hell. I think I need to go double check that. That Young versus Rest in Hell, or not Rest in Hell, versus oh, we need 2 more. Okay, let's try to see if we can get it. But that last one was a really long one with a brick.